What's up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz for a hump day, the Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Welcome in. We've got a lot to get to today, getting geared up for this Washington game. The Buckeyes headed up in their hoopty, headed up to Seattle. That's the end of that battle. And going to take on these Huskies. So I've got Ryan Day press conference highlights from yesterday, and I have some injury updates from Washington insiders. So looks like these guys are going to be in big freaking trouble. They got more holes than fucking Swiss cheese here. It's not looking good. But anyways, let's get into it. As always, please like, subscribe. Hit me up anytime you got questions, comments. Let's hear your score predictions, all the stuff. Bring it on. So Ryan Day press conference. So you got the big road test. Husky Stadium is going to be loud, hostile, whatever. So the Buckeyes are preparing for that, obviously. Ryan Day talked about Julian Sayin preparing for his first road start. This is going to be huge. That's what she said. Ryan Day said, I think just making no assumptions when you're on the road, all the little things, it's almost like going back to the beginning, going back to basics. He emphasized the importance of routine, preparation, not letting the environment shake your execution. And then Carson Hinsman is a veteran. He has experience in loud venues, so that's a huge help when working with a young quarterback for sure. Now, on the silent cadence and crowd noise, Ohio State's going to use a silent cadence on the O-line, at the line. So Day's confident that Carson Hinsman and the O-line's experience are going to be good. He said, these are not young guys in this environment. We have to use it as a weapon, not let it hinder us. We have seen some teams shit the bed when they have to go to a silent cadence. These are my words, not Coach Day's. He doesn't say shit at a press conference anyway. So, yeah, on the Washington offense, Ryan Day said he called the quarterback Demond Williams Jr. an excellent quarterback with elite quickness, acceleration, accuracy, and decision-making. He also talked about running back Jonah Coleman as a powerful, downhill, dangerous as a pass catcher as well. And, of course, wide receiver Denzel Boston called him a major weapon. They said they've been very, very efficient on offense, and they haven't made any mistakes, so very, very talented. So this is a challenge for the Buckeye defense. You got to be disciplined, you got to contain the quarterback, and limit those explosive plays. Looking at you, Lorenzo Styles, Jr., not senior. Senior, I can whip my ass. Anyway, on Washington's defense, Ryan Walters' style of defense, he isolates players in one-on-one matchups. I say, go right the fuck ahead, pal. Ryan Day said everybody has to win their one-on-ones, but the Washington corners, they bring unusual length and some strength. That's going to be a challenge for Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate, and all the guys. So expect a heavy dose of man coverage, but Ohio State is preparing for multiple looks on the Washington defense. Ryan Day talked about Edric Houston and the D-line depth. He stressed consistency over flashes. So sounds like Edric needs to be consistent. Day said, we're looking for depth at every position. The ability is there. Now it's about consistency. Tywone Malone Jr. also in the mix. So he's going to continue being part of that rotation. We've seen some flashes from him too. I'd love to see some consistency from him as well. On the running back rotation, Ryan Day said all three running backs, Bo Jackson, James Peoples, C.J. Donaldson, they're all going to be needed. He said it's a long season. There's no question Bo flashed in the last game, so we're going to keep building on that. It sounds to me like more reps for Bo. The workload's going to shift week to week depending on the game plan, of course. And that's for everybody. On the travel schedule, the team's going to leave Thursday for Seattle, keeping everything else the same. So he's still evaluating the best long-term plan for West Coast trips after last year's Oregon experience. Day said we were playing fast, but we are always learning and trying to get better. He's talking about the staff. Ryan Day talked about his own growth as a head coach. He said, you're never really ready to buy your first house. You're never ready to have your first kid. You just have to learn and grow. He says that each year he learns more about himself, his team, and his staff. So Washington's efficiency on offense is a huge concern. The red zone execution has to be improved by the Buckeyes. And Ryan Day expects an electric atmosphere in Husky Stadium. So, now, injury updates on Washington's side. And I think we're pretty straight. I think we're 100%, unless there's something minor lingering out there. But here's the Washington injury updates. Now, cornerback Tacario Davis, he's a starter. He's one of those 6'4" corners. Says he's questionable. He suffered an upper body midsection injury against UC Davis. He did travel and work out at the Wazoo game, but was ruled out. Jed Fish says they'll give him right up till kickoff and to see if he can go. Now, if he's out, Washington's going to have to move Leroy Bryant, their nickel, outside. He against Washington State, he struggled. He gave up explosive plays and got benched. Hit the bench. And then you're going to bring in true freshman Dylan Robinson, maybe 6'3", 200 pounds. He's talented, but again, true freshman against Jeremiah Smith or Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate. Go ahead, buddy. Bring them on. Bring all of them on. So for the Buckeyes, if Davis can't go, expect Hartline to look for matchups to get that nickel outside replacement against Jeremiah Smith and Carnell, especially on some slot fades, posts, and some go routes. Some pre-snap motion will force that matchup, so look for that before the snap for the Buckeyes. Also on defense for Washington, linebacker Buddha Al-Uqda, whatever. He's a starting Mike. He is out. Middle linebacker is out. He's a transfer from Washington State. He suffered a leg injury in the Apple Cup last week. So next man up is somebody named Alexander. I don't know. He's a transfer. I don't know. Then you got Jacob Manu. He could factor in. Manu's working back and may or may not be ready. X-Ray Alexander. I don't know who the fuck that is. It sounds made up. So your Mike is your quarterback of your defense, so that could be a big problem. So for the Buckeyes, the loss of the Mike linebacker, that really sounds like trouble for them. Expect the Buckeyes to stress the second level. And, those routes right over the middle. There's going to be so much going on. And it's going to help the running game, too. I mean, any of those inside runs, a middle linebacker is usually making the tackle. Not looking good. So, on offense, wide receiver Rasheed Williams, he's their wide receiver 2. He is out with a collarbone. That's at least 6 weeks. Must be broke. Looks broke. Washington started 2 true freshmen against Washington State, Raiden Vinesite and Desmond Roebuck. So I'll probably go heavily towards Denzel Boston, so expect him to get a lot of targets. And then, of course, the running back, Jonah Coleman, we talked about him being a pass-catching threat out of the backfield. So for the Buckeyes, Patricia's probably going to lean coverage over to Boston's side with a safety over the top, probably press him at the line, and then they'll devote a nickel or a linebacker to Coleman in the screen game. So go ahead. We'll take our one-on-one with the true freshman. We're good. Some notes on the depth chart for Washington. Looks like the safety Alex McLaughlin is probably going to play 6'2", 200 pounds. He had 2 picks. One was a pick 6 against Washington State. He's rangy, always around the ball. So you don't want to give this guy any gifts over the middle, So clearly you don't want to give it up. So if Davis does play, you got Ephesians Prysock we talked about. He's 6'4" as well. He's opposite of Davis, but they can play more press man and live with the length outside. So for the Buckeyes, if Davis is back, expect more true man coverage and Walter's 5-man fronts. So keep probably some 12 to 13 personnel in there to force a base defense out of Washington. And then you can manufacture some matchups against that nickel corner and roast his ass. If Davis is out, Leroy Bryant likely back at nickel, and then Robinson rotates to the outside. So you're going to see a lot of formation to set up these corners and get these guys in one-on-one situations against Jeremiah and Carnell and Brandon. So early slot fades, deep overs, boundary routes and stuff like that. So Washington's going to try and hide their weakest corner. So go tempo, and then some formation changes and motion is really going to fuck them up, man, when we're on offense. So you want to stress that new Mike linebacker. Maybe you get some running back routes over the middle and tight end crossers behind blitzers. So, and then you're going to take your shots occasionally. So hopefully weather's good. Look at fades to Jeremiah against these long corners. See if you can go up and get one, and then maybe you go tight end after heavy personnel. Leak the tight end out and beat these guys up. So, yeah, should be a good one. This is definitely not a talent equates game. I mean, we were saying it last Sunday. I've been saying it. So, let me know what you guys think. You think we're going to roast these guys on offense? I see us scoring at will almost. I think we put up close to 40. So let me know what you think. Hit me up. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.